With the huge success of seminal "We totally didn't rip off F-Zero" future racer Wipeout, Sony demanded developers Psygnosis quickly pump out a sequel for the following September. But considering there was less than 11 months to produce a full-blown follow-up, the boys from Liverpool created what is essentially a track pack for the original instead, which Sony then went out and released as a sequel anyway, ultimately naming the title Wipeout 2097. However, while Psygnosis was quite happy adding a year to the end of the title for its European release, they weren't too confident with it going under the same moniker for its US launch, deciding to remove the chronological character altogether and renaming the title Wipeout XL. So why would Psygnosis believe rebranding the title Wipeout Extra Large be a preferable option in the United States? Well, here comes the stupid part. In an interview with Retro Gamer magazine, producer Andy Satterthwaite pointed out that some genius higher up at Psygnosis legitimately believed that American customers wouldn't be able to understand the concept of a year numbered a century into the future for the game's title, and would be confused about what happened to the previous 2095 prequels. Yup, someone literally thought Americans would assume a year was actually a sequel's number. Psygnosis had also originally wanted to rename the game Wipeout XS in the US, but when noticing that XS also stood for extra small, they went for the total opposite instead. But it does beg a belief that a human being is capable of assuming it's possible to release 2095 sequels in the space of 12 months. I mean, Sony would literally have to release over 5.73 sequels every single day to fit that quota, let alone that another human being would assume another person would assume that. But one of the heads of Psygnosis thought so little of their clientele that they renamed it nonetheless. Luckily, the third title in the series, and an actual sequel, released 3 years later, Wipeout 3, or Whip 3 Out as it's written, went back to the traditional way of naming causatum. Sort of. By which time Sony thought screw it and named the fourth one Fusion, before finally assuming Americans were smart enough now to understand a future year in the title, with Wipeout 2048 for the PS Vita.